All right. Hello. Thank you for joining us. I am Jessica Chichester. I am the co-owner and founder of Haute Healing Oasis Wellness Center in Stamford, Connecticut. We are the whole body upgrade center. So we do three things. One, we have over a dozen different technologies that help you upgrade your body, your mind, your life, that help with the detoxification process, sleep, chronic illness, uh, reducing stress, improving sleep. So all the technologies we have been tested for over 20 years internationally. I like to say that the center it meets at the intersection of science meets spirituality, because all the devices are science-based, but the atmosphere itself is wrapped in a blanket of Zen. We also have happy hours where we have weekly workshops so you can just extend your wellness and also connect with the community. And then the third thing that we do is we've partnered with Dr. Stephen O'Connor, who you're going to meet on this call today. And we help facilitate spiritual plant medicine retreats to Ecuador. And that's why we're on the call today. Dr. O'Connor, we're so happy to have you.
Thank you, Jessica. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
And so, Dr. O'Connor is really a force of nature. I put some good money on anybody finding a doctor like him anywhere in the world. Just something brand new, really refreshing. And I met Dr. O'Connor about 5 years ago. We'll go into that in a second. But who is he? Who is this force of nature? Well, he practiced 33 years of medicine in the emergency room. And now he's moved over to a more holistic and functional medicine approach. He is an expert in longevity, and his areas of interest are in the healing nature of psychedelics, herbology, mycology, and the healing benefits of plant medicines, not only for longevity, but for overall wellness, mental health, physical health, all of that. So Dr. O'Connor, really, you're going to learn about his story. He literally had this incredible experience where he just uprooted his life and made a big change. Dr. O'Connor, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, thank you for the introduction. Yes, I started probably 9 years ago, just not being able to really harmonize with traditional medicines, the allopathic, osteopathic way of practicing medicine. And I was classically trained. I'm a medical doctor, and spent 33 years in the emergency department, acute care medicine, critical care medicine. And I just found that it was very lacking in long-term longitudinal care. And it was very good for, obviously, if you were in a car accident, you don't go to your naturopath. You want to go to the emergency department. But the vast majority of the care that I was giving was more of a primary care level. And within that practice framework, I was noticing that it just wasn't making any sense anymore. We weren't really treating the root cause of pathology or disease. We weren't really addressing the issues. We were giving a pill for an ill or a Band-Aid on the problem. And it became very, it just didn't have any spiritual healing for me. It became very mundane and very routine. And my wife, Michelle, had an experience with some supplements that one day she handed me a list, and she said, are these okay? And I kind of looked at it, and my first thought, my classic medical doctor thought was, these are useless, and how much is this going to cost me? But over the next couple of weeks, I noticed that she had fundamentally changed the trajectory of her health. And it was pretty apparent that there was something to these supplements. Got me to thinking, obviously being a scientist and a physician who, we're trained to look at data and to look at information and make assessments about whether or not they're practical, useful, et cetera. And I started to delve into the idea that maybe there's something more to medicine than just pharmaceuticals. And that's what brought me to this level in a kind of a roundabout way. I had another personal situation that really forced me to look deep within myself, to look at my life, to look at my spirituality, which up until that point was incredibly lacking. I didn't really gravitate towards some of these alternative, and I use the word alternative, it's somewhat condescending in this context, but the alternative ways that people look at other health options. And I found that I needed to do something dramatic, which brought me to Ecuador again. I had been there in 2006. Since 1996, I'd been doing some just basically medical mission work in underserved areas, and it brought me to 7 different countries and practicing medical missionary work with indigenous locals, et cetera. And I knew that Ecuador, from my previous travels there was a real tradition, a very deeply seated culture of plant medicines and healing. And it happened to be that that's what I needed at that time. So I went back down to Ecuador. I communicated with some friends that I had down there, told them what I was looking for. I was looking for some plant medicine journeys and ceremonies, and connected with a couple of curanderos who are plant medicine specialists. And that's where my journey began. I developed a strong affinity towards the plant medicine form of healing. I also gravitated towards the cultural lineage that these beautiful ceremonies emanated from. Many are thousands of years old. And there was a real draw for me there. And I was in a very ideal situation to kind of bridge the spirituality and the science between these customs and these ceremonies. And that was fascinating to me. I was able to look at what they do and then be able to tap current scientific thought, investigation, study, and see that these things that traditional modern medicine looks at and says, this is crazy. But I was able to look at them and say, no, there's real science behind it. They may not know the science. They know from thousands of years of practice that these therapeutics, these ceremonies, these cultural benefits that they bring to their people, they work. And there's something profound about how they work, and they work much better than modern medicines do. And that's what brought me to Ecuador. That's what got me into doing ayahuasca, San Pedro, which is Wachuma psilocybin. I became convinced that these psychedelics, these journeys, these cultural linear ceremonies that are done by the indigenous cultures in South America can really change and shift not only yourself on a personal level, but also on a world level. And that's what brought me to develop this program where we bring people down in a very cost-effective way and allow them to experience, a portion of what I experienced. The transformational shift in my life, I think, can be anticipated by anyone who comes down to our programs. We've created something that I think is very necessary in this society right now, in our modern society. People are looking for a change. People are looking for an evolution, an improvement in love, in healing, in vibration, in how they interact with people and different peoples and their spirituality. And this is a time that was perfect for us to bring people down in a safe, well-vetted. I mean, we use curanderos, which, for lack of a better term, are shamans, but that are world experts. They're renowned. They're the best of the best. They're Taita Mayors. They're the best of the plant medicine healers. And there's a lot of stuff out there that isn't really well vetted, isn't really safe, isn't really catered to the personal needs of people, but more towards the financial, the profits. And I didn't want to bring our Western commercialism to South America. I wanted to bring a non-colonial, non-exploitative opportunity for people to come experience life in the Amazon, in the Andean highlands, and to experience these practices in an authentic, safe, well-structured way. And that's what brought me here.
Yeah. I mean, thank you so much for sharing that story, and really, for being open. I mean, I know as a teacher myself, and just somebody, the way that we're trained in our Western society is, especially when you get into the field of education or medicine, is, a lot of people leave their critical thinking on the side and they just follow suit because it's your duty, right? Whether, like Peter, you're a firefighter, or me, a teacher, and you a physician. But it's so important that we stay open and that we look at the information around us and question it and go a little deeper into how we can not only help ourselves heal, but how can we help others heal, right? So thank you so much for doing that work, and and spearheading it, not only for you, but for the amount of people that you're impacting, and that, as me and Hope Healing Oasis is impacting, right, by allowing them to come into this safe space and this safe community in Ecuador. So a little bit about my story, how I got to this place was, I guess it really started at a young age. And when I was young, I was very spiritual. I was very connected, but I just had this contrast, right? I struggled with depression, and to the point that even I was 11 and I was institutionalized for mental health issues. And I remember at that time, they didn't have the same laws that they have now. And I was in an adult wing, and I saw some really heavy stuff. And I just remembered, like, I need to figure a way out of this because I do not want this medication. And so when I left there, my depression didn't just go away, but I really got into the holistic side of things at a very young age. I mean, before it was even big, right? So like just into veganism and into plants, and I would plant things with my grandmother and started getting into herbs and into all of that. And then my first job was at the health food store, the first in the city. And I was working with the supplements and the herbs and aromatherapy and making juices and just learning and getting into yoga and all of this. And that whole path, I realized that when I exercised, I felt better, and I had a good diet, I felt better. And what really kept me on the straight and narrow was just creating this good path of health and wellness in my life, coupled with the weightlifting, right? to the point that I became a Hall of Fame athlete. But if we backtrack, I forgot about this. Even in 11th grade, I had connected with psychedelics, and obviously 25 years ago, 25 years ago, there wasn't the information there is now. But, and I didn't know how to do it, obviously, in a proper way, in a way that could help me grow mind, body, spirit. But I knew that there was something to it, to the point that my 11th grade paper was on psychedelics. It was a 20-page paper, and there was a lot of Timothy Leary in there. And I knew that there was something to it. But after that, I just tabled it because there wasn't enough information, and I just didn't want to be a recreational drug user. That wasn't like my thing, right? And so fast forward to 2019 when my grandmother's passed away, and I connected with one of my friends who is very, people around here would call her a shaman. And she told me, like, Jessica, it's time for you to do ayahuasca. And so for 3 years, I went on this deep dive of tunnel vision, like I was going to just conquer a world record. I had that kind of focus, looking into researching all different kinds of plants, calling different people and centers and interviews, and reading books and traveling to some of these centers, and finding underground communities, interviewing people there, all of this. And the right experience did not pop up. And I was trying to force it. And it was this one moment, this one day, that I drove to this shaman's house. And I said, okay, God, if this is not what you want me to do, you need to give me a sign. And as I rang the doorbell and waited, I just turned to my right, and this huge German Shepherd launched himself at me and bit my forearm. And it was a pretty hefty attack. And I knew that was my sign. And I said, okay, I'm dropping this. I know everything that I can in where I am in this state about these plants, about the healing benefits, but I also know that I can't force any of this, so I'm just going to let it go. And then a couple of years later, right? So Peter and I we do research on everything. Everything at the Wellness Center has tons of research behind it, to the point where we don't really sell a lot of products because they have to be the purest on the market. And they have to really help people. So this one company that we are working with their plant products, we found were literally the cleanest on the planet. And through that company, 5 years ago, we met Dr. O'Connor. And we would see him on the calls every week, a couple of times a week. Peter and I were very close to the owners, still are. And he was also close too, right? He helped formulate lots of these products, if not almost all of them. And so we were just connected. And I remember the first time that I met you, I just was like enthralled, because there's no one like you. So then finally, last year, Peter and I went to go to the distribution center for these products to see, okay, we know they're amazing. Let's see what the distribution center looks like. And Dr. O'Connor and his wife, Michelle, were there. And we both came, like both sets of us, Peter and I and Michelle and Dr. O'Connor, got there a little early, and we sat and had dinner together. And he just opened up his heart and what he was doing. And then this next stage of his life. And I felt the fire inside of me come alive. And I was like, that's it, God. If this is meant to be, like, this is it. I know that this is it. So this is it. It was incredible. We said yes to going. In the natural, I probably, should have maybe gone first, right? Any person would say, oh, go first and check it out, and then come back and then bring people. But I figured, I know that it was going to be amazing. We talked to the Tua and the other medicine healers, and my trust in Dr. O'Connor and Michelle, and we just said yes. And we brought a group with us in October, and everybody had the most transformational, I know that I can say that, the most transformational experience of their life. And for me, just to simply put it without getting into it anymore, is that I grew up Pentecostal, going to church 3 times a week, like loving God, being slain in the spirit, Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues when I was 6 years old, being birthed in fire, having signs and signals and all of these things. And never have I ever experienced such a pure, loving encounter with God as I did on this trip. And the healing that I experienced has just been instrumental. I mean, I've been in therapy my whole life, right? And yeah, it is true when they say, for me, it was like a lifetime, 10 years at least, a lifetime of therapy in one night. The clarity that I got and all of that, and just what this trip provides on such fundamental levels is incredible. I don't know how much time we have, Dr. O'Connor, but do you want to get into some of the nuances and experiences with the trip?
Sure. One of the things that I'm very conscious of and very aware is that this is a program that is going to transformationally alter your life. And we've taken every opportunity to provide something that's going to be achievable for people to financially to come down. The area that we go down to in Ecuador is in the Ecuadorian highlands. It's in the spine of the Andes Mountains, a little community called Pagucha. And it's just exquisite. We've created a group of people that surround you. And that's very important. If you're doing spiritual journey like this, if you're doing plant medicines, it's not just the plant medicine. Anyone can take ayahuasca and have a situation, but it's entirely different to do ayahuasca in the presence of somebody who's got 60 plus years of experience in plant medicine, not to mention generational lineage as plant medicine healers in the Colombian Amazon, in the rainforest, etc. Tuamari, another one of our special curanderos, he over 25 years, and he was just recognized by his mentors as an ayahuasquero. He can provide ayahuasca experiences now. He was also considered by his peers to be a taita, which is an incredible honor. That's not just something that you can do by taking an online course or something like this. So these people are genuinely the best in their cultures, in their experiences, in their abilities to guide you. So we not only bring you the best people to guide you on your journeys, but we have other people that assist you, that hold space, that help you process what you're going to learn, what you're going to learn about yourself, what you're going to learn about the world and other people. And the connectiveness and the contact that we have amongst people in the group is very important. But we're also very aware that everything needs to be considered. You need the diet, you need the foods, the organic foods, the dieteta, which considers what the plant medicines are going to do for you. And we customize and we prepare the meals so that it gives you the best opportunity to have the best experience. We create the timing between the ceremonies so that you have time to process. We have activities like sound healing. We have flute making, dream catchers that you, excuse me, get to make your own dream catchers. We have therapeutic massage, Lomi Lomi massage, which is all included. Everything is all inclusive except for your airfare. The transportation is professionally guided. The ceremonies are guided by the professionals. The Temascal, which is a sweat lodge, is done using traditional methods and traditional ceremonies. The Pachamanca, which is, I know you love the Pachamanca. That was just, yeah, that's where you cook traditional foods using hot stones, banana leaves, and you cover them and you cook them in the ground in the traditional millennia old ways of cooking foods. While you're going through your Temascal. And when you come out, you have this incredible euphoric sense after being in the sweat lodge, and then you're exposed to this food, which nothing tastes better after that experience. The Pachamanca is just amazing. So we've thought of everything from the sensibilities of most people who are going to come down. The lodging, it's in a traditional hostel, which the rooms are very clean. They're very comfortable. We've renovated the plumbing so that you have hot water, which, hot water is kind of important, but you don't register how important hot water is until you've gone on a Wachuma walk and you're up in the mountains, and it just feels so good and comforting and cocooning and spiritually awakening to just let that warm water fall over your head after you've been in the mountains or up on the volcano in the caldera for 7 to 10 hours. So we provide the experiences, but yet we want you to be comfortable. We don't want you to be too comfortable. There are a lot of programs out there that are 5-star resorts. You sit by the pool, someone brings you alcohol, they're dressed in whatever. That I think leaves a lot on the table. I think it's important to not only be a part of the ceremonies, but also to live in the ambiance, in the sensuality of nature, in the warmth of the people surrounding you, to have contact, to be around these same people for dinner, for opening ceremonies, for music, for that all creates an environment and the opportunity to not only benefit from your own connectiveness with nature and spirit, but also you help round out the connectiveness and the contact with nature and the four winds and the earth, wind, fire, water. That experience creates a community that you actually grow from and you're adding. So it's not a fly-by-night operation. This has been critically thought out. We have gone through great measures to provide an opportunity for people to have something that is going to change their life. And it really is that intense. It's intense, but it's comforting. You're gonna have some hard work, but you're gonna love doing it.
It's gonna feel light, right? So
absolutely.
Taking an adventure inward to reinvent the outward.
Yeah, and we also provide some downtime where you can have your massage, you can have your time away, you can walk in the community, the little village. There's opportunity for shopping, because that's when you go to a place like Ecuador on the equator and you travel to a different culture. It's really cool to bring back a piece of that experience. So not only will you have the opportunity to psychologically and spiritually bring back that experience, but there's fun stuff. They've got their jewelry is beautiful. Their textile work is incredible. And even something as simple as a crystal or a piece of simple jewelry to remind you of your experience, to connect you, to keep you connected to that world is really important. So we give you that opportunity to experience that as well. And
I love how too it's, you know, you're in this beautiful world where it's like you've heard me say before, it's like the jungle kissed and made love with the tropics. It's this magical fairy-like gnome-like world, you know, hummingbird capital of the world, rose capital of the world. You know, you're high up there, but you still have service. You know, you still have phone service, you have hot water, you have your own comforting bedroom with your own comforting shower, organic farm to table food. Everything we do, there's music involved. You just get to hear all the beautiful animals in the morning, during the day. You're so integrated with nature in all of this. And it's such a nice blend. And I really do love how, even though we're doing the plant medicines there, it's not just like, okay, go on a compound and let's do ayahuasca 6 times. No, there's no room for integration or to hear your own soul, right? So this whole trip, it's interesting because you can't really tell the difference between the medicine and other activities and experiences that we have, because everything is working together synergistically to bring you to a greater state of healing and peace and rest. So it is very special to have all those elements, as well as all the curanderos that we have, all the plant medicine healers, generations of them there, with Dr. O'Connor having that Western medicine safety as well. It's just everything that you would want from a vacation and a retreat all at once. So thank you so much. Yeah.
You're also able to create your own journey. You don't have to do all of the ceremonies. You can, if you get there and you decide that something just doesn't feel right to you, you know, you're there to hold space for someone else. It's such a, I think synergy is a beautiful word for that. It really is just a life synergistic healing experience. I don't think that there's anything quite like it.
No,
out there. And you know, we do give back to the communities. One of my particular mission statements is to provide a sustainable, non-exploitative opportunity for these people to continue their culture, to continue their ceremony, to continue their life's work, and in a financially rational situation. We also provide, by coming down, not only are you helping, we figured out directly 25 different families were helped by each one of our programs, but you also, a percentage of that money is also earmarked for helping others with, in my particular desire is to build a sanctuary for trafficked and abused women, which is really important down there. You saw if you watched the football game last night, they're very big into helping protect protect people from trafficking, et cetera. And last night I heard a statement that it's the one night that has the highest amount of trafficking for whatever reason. I'm not sure what it is about, you know, that circumstance, but so we want to help to, we can't cure the world, the ills of the world, but we can certainly help in a small way. And so by coming down, you are being instrumental in assisting the hope and changing a person from hopelessness to hope and hopefulness, and providing a portion of the means that are going to help to educate, sustain, to find the passions of these people and allow them to live a life that they were supposed to live, not what they were enslaved to live. So these are really important things to understand about. This is a well thought out program and opportunity for people to experience.
And I do love that, as it's like each of us, we're going for our own healing, but we're also learning how to reconnect with ourselves and nature and just the essence of who we are on a whole different level that just will never leave you. And while you're embedded in your own healing, so you're helping others heal, right? So by saying yes to coming on this trip, you're also saying yes to helping these fund give finances to these families, and also yes to restoring health to trafficked and suffering women, and doing so in a way that's not, how did you say it? Not colonialized,
Non-colonial and non-exploitive.
Yeah. And so this is the beautiful hum of what's happening with this trip. So thank you so much for coming on here today. Please, if you have any questions, you can just reach out to me directly, Jessica at Hope Healing Oasis, or Jessica at hopehealingoasis.com. If you want to email me, check out our Instagram, our TikTok, our Facebook, our website, and we hope to see you on this spiritual plant medicine retreat we're having in Ecuador. It's July 16th to the 23rd, 2023. July 16th to the 23rd. We will talk to you soon. See you soon.
Blessings, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.